Good evening, everyone. I'm Trent Butler. We begin this evening with some developing news out of Shelby County. I want to show you a live picture from Alabaster tonight where a small plane crashed earlier this afternoon near 10th Street Southwest. We're told the pilot survived. The pilot has been taken to UAB Hospital for treatment. That plane actually clipped a tree, knocking the tree onto a parked car. The aircraft ended up behind the home. Keep it right here with CBS 42 and CBS42.com as we get more information about the plane crash in Alabaster. Meanwhile, it's the start of a new year, 2014. That means there is plenty of football on the radar tonight. The Auburn Tigers are in Pasadena right now, where they will play for their second national title in 4 years against the Florida State Seminoles. And if preparing for Florida State isn't difficult enough, now the Auburn Nation is hearing reports that an NFL team may try to hire away their head coach. Gus Malzahn's work this year to turn around the Tigers from one of the SEC's worst teams to a national championship contender has caught the eye of at least one NFL team. CBS sports writer Jason La Canfora is reporting that the Cleveland Browns are, quote, very interested in interviewing the Tigers' first-year coach. He goes on to say Malzahn, quote, is viewed by some as the candidate who has most captured the imagination of the organization, meaning the Browns. Of course, losing Coach Malzahn would be a crushing blow for Auburn, since many fans view him as one of the main reasons the Tigers were able to capture their last national title just a few years ago. We sent our Mike McClanahan down to the Plains to see how they are handling these latest rumors.
Down on the Plains, this football season has been one for the books.
They're calling it a team of destiny around town. I'm tending to agree. For business, it's been excellent. And bringing a national championship back home 2 years after it went away would be incredible for this town.
Oh my gosh, it's made me so proud to be an Auburn Tiger. It's just amazing what they've done.
According to CBS Sports.com, the Cleveland Browns management also thinks Auburn's success is impressive. CBS Sports reports that the NFL team is looking at Auburn head coach Gus Malzahn as a candidate for the Browns head coach position. 5 days out from Auburn's shot at the BCS title, it's the last thing Auburn fans may want to hear.
It's very upsetting because we just built this team. We're getting this team off the ground.
That doesn't surprise me. I think his offense would actually transfer into the NFL. I hope he doesn't. Auburn hopes he doesn't, but he's a businessman and he'll do what he's going to do.
I think it would do some effects to morale and cause it to be lowered a little bit, especially since we attribute a lot of that success to Gus.
I believe that Gus Malzahn will stay with Auburn, and after this great season, I don't know why he'd want to leave.
Auburn Media Relations was unavailable for comment about the article. CBS Sports.com also mentions Vanderbilt football coach James Franklin as a contender for the Browns coaching spot. The reports also suggested that Auburn's head coach and Vanderbilt's head coach both had the same agent, Jimmy Sexton, with Creative Artists Agency. We contacted the agency and left a message for Sexton, but we're told that he won't be back in the office until next week. Reporting in Auburn, Mike McClanahan, CBS 42 News.
Okay, Mike, thank you. Let's go ahead and bring in Patrick Claybon and Jim Dunaway. Of course, the guys are in Pasadena. You have covered these kinds of stories in the past. Recently, all that speculation Nick Saban might go to Texas. So what do you make of these reports, and is this going to affect Coach Malzahn, as, of course, he's trying to keep his team focused on the prize here?
Well, Trent, as we come into Newport Beach, California, you are right. We have dealt with some speculation and rumors in the past few months, but you have to, if you're worried about the focus, all that's gone on with Auburn, they're trying to win a national championship. Right?
I don't want to take all the air out of the balloon of the first 2 minutes that we just spent in the newscast, but there's a better chance of me jumping on an orca behind us in the Pacific than Gus Malzahn being the coach of the Cleveland Browns. He'll not coach the Cleveland Browns. Auburn fans do not need to worry about this. His focus is on the national championship. There may be a day somewhere down the road he coaches another college team. I don't think Gus Malzahn has a desire to be in the NFL. Definitely not the Cleveland Browns. Definitely not now.
And the reaction that everybody has had, and we heard the story from Mike, the concerns are there, but anytime that you have the success that Gus Malzahn is having at Auburn, especially after going 3-9, they're playing for a national championship. It wouldn't be surprised to hear his name pop up for a whole lot of football teams that would love to have Gus Malzahn as head coach. Trent.
All right, Patrick, guys, thanks so much. And Jim, I'm sure Auburn fans hoping that you're right. I don't want to see you swimming back there, all right? All right, guys, have a good time out there in California. And keep it right here with CBS 42 as we follow this developing story. We have special inside college football coverage every night this week, starting at 10:15 after the news. Let's go ahead and join Ted McInerney in the Weather Center. And Ted, obviously the Auburn story is hot, whether it's the national championship or speculation about Gus Malzahn. The weather not so much.
No, in fact, Trent, I think this may be one of the coldest 7-day forecasts I've put together in quite some time. And we're not going to talk about our full 7-day forecast. We're going to talk about rain first. Here's Titan 3D radar. You can see some light rain developing in South Alabama. That wave of moisture will be moving into our area for tonight, probably after midnight. Let's take a look at our first forecast. Right now in Birmingham, it's 50 degrees, mild temperatures, 45 by 10 o'clock, a few scattered showers, but rain's more likely in the morning, 48 degrees, and 48 will be our high temperature for the day. But again, remember, I got some bitter cold temperatures to talk about. We're going to have all that in your full weather forecast in just a few short minutes.
Okay, Ted, thank you. See you in just a few minutes. Unfortunately, it is a devastating start to the year for the families of 2 women killed in Tuscaloosa early this morning, and the man who police say is responsible. They were killed in a 2-car accident at the intersection of McFarland Boulevard and 15th Street about 3 o'clock this morning. Investigators say they collided with a car driven by 22-year-old Keanthony Davis. Investigators tell CBS 42 Davis was speeding when he ran a red light. They do believe that alcohol contributed to this deadly accident. Davis is charged tonight with 2 counts of murder. Davis left the scene but then surrendered right after 2 o'clock this afternoon.
He was my baby. I just loved him.
A West Birmingham family, meanwhile, is also starting the new year with tragedy. They are mourning the loss of a father and husband after he was shot and killed right after midnight. 36-year-old Desmond Bias was found dead early this morning, found outside his West Birmingham home. He is pictured here with his wife. Police arrived to find Bias lying in the road with a gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead there at the scene. The suspected shooter was still there when police arrived and was arrested right away. Investigators say a family argument took place before the shooting. The victim's mother-in-law says she got a call from Desmond earlier that evening.
I said, well, Desmond, you be careful, because I knew, you know, this holiday season. He said, yes, Mom. I said, I love you, and you take care. And that was the end of it. I didn't realize that was the last words that I would have.
Very difficult time for her, and Lois tells us the family had a restraining order against the suspect because of previous problems, and that Desmond and his wife had custody of the suspect's 2 children. Fireworks bursting in the sky over Gardendale last night. A lot of fun for everyone when it's done correctly, but there are plenty of places where it's against the law to shoot them into the sky. And Birmingham is one of those places. And the police department called in hundreds of extra officers to hit the streets looking for people shooting fireworks and something much more dangerous, guns, into the air. And the officers stayed very busy. During a 3-hour period, the police department received 488 calls of gunfire, 315 calls for illegal fireworks. 13 people were arrested, 10 guns were recovered. 3 of those guns had been reported as stolen. And speaking of crackdowns, members of the Birmingham City Council want new restrictions on businesses that offer payday loans, but they may have to get in line. State leaders plan to introduce a bill in Montgomery later this month to lower interest rates that are being charged. Representative Patricia Todd of Birmingham says the interest rates are so high right now that even capping them at 100% would be considered a victory. From government restrictions on payday loans to government requirements for mandatory health care, the Affordable Care Act officially goes into effect today. Most of it, though. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor has temporarily blocked a provision in the Affordable Care Act that would have required some religious-affiliated groups to cover birth control for their workers. Organizations that do not comply with the law will face thousands of dollars in fines. Irondale-based EWTN is one of many religious groups across the country that started to fight back after that proposal in 2011. And today we had a chance to speak to CEO Michael Warsaw about the stay.
The government is imposing this burden upon us to say, you either violate your principles, violate your conscience, or we will impose fines that will crush you. And that's an unconscionable situation.
Justice Sotomayor gave the Justice Department until Friday to respond. Still ahead tonight, we check in on the Homewood High School Marching Band. They're in Pasadena right now for the Tournament of Roses Parade. Plus, meet Baby New Year. Caitlin McCulley introduces us to little Gwyneth. What a cutie.
The Alabama Crimson Tide run in the new year here in New Orleans. Alabama head coach Nick Saban is going to tell us a little bit about his card-playing days coming up later in sports.
And if you have a parka or anything extremely warm, well, you need it because we have bitter cold air coming in this weekend as well as next week. It gets even colder. Your forecast is coming up.
I'm Airman Ballard Henry, deployed aboard the USS Boxer, protecting and defending America's rights on the Persian Gulf. I want to say happy holidays to all my friends and family, my wonderful wife back home in Alabama.
You're watching CBS 42 News at 5 with Sherry Jackson, Trent Butler, and Chief Meteorologist Gene Norman.
Welcome back and Happy New Year, everyone. And a new year is full of firsts, especially when it is your first day, well, ever. Caitlin McCulley introduces us to one of Birmingham's first babies of 2014.
Just after the clock struck midnight at Brookwood Medical Center, one Birmingham family got a little bit bigger, about 7 pounds bigger.
Meet the newest addition to the Chambers family, Gwyneth Danielle.
We are so excited. I'm just so glad to have her here.
Weighing in at 7 pounds and 15 ounces, baby Gwyneth was born at 12:30 this morning.
So when we found out her due date was December 30th, we really had our fingers crossed that she would at least be on time, but that wasn't God's plan or her plan, so she came just after the new year.
So no extra tax credit this time around.
But it was more important to us that she be able to come whenever she wanted.
Shelley decided to give birth naturally, so no pain meds. Once she went into labor,
I was not paying attention to the time.
No. Little Gwyneth's big sister Harper was more than ready to meet the baby.
She was really happy when she got here, got to see her on the outside, and we bought a baby doll, and the nurse brought a baby doll to Harper. So she got to hold her baby in the bed beside me while I held Gwyneth.
For Shelley and her husband Rob, 2014 is off to a great start.
Say hi, Mr. Camera.
And the Chambers family is looking forward to watching their new little one get to know her big sister in the new year. In Birmingham, Caitlin McCulley, CBS 42 News.
What a great story, beautiful family. Congratulations to them in this new year. Well, there's been a very busy few days for members of the Homewood High School Marching Band. Since arriving in Pasadena, California last weekend, they have marched from one event to another, but they tell us it is all worth it. The 300-plus members are in Pasadena for the Tournament of Roses Parade, the 4th trip for Homewood High School's band. They flew in last Saturday, and they warmed up marching in parades at Disneyland, also at Pasadena City College earlier this week. The band director, Ron Pence, says while they have been here before, this year the trip is a little more special because his son is marching in the band.
They're all special, and this one's been extra special. Of course, my son has been on the trip marching in the band and participating, and just having such a large group, having over 320 kids out here has been fantastic.
A big group and a talented group coming up tonight at 6 and 10. We'll have more from the band's experiences this week, and our own Ted McInerney was honored to narrate a halftime performance.
Yeah, well, it was the first round of the playoffs, and it was at Homewood, and Ron Pence was very nice enough to let me fill in, and it was a lot of fun. They're a great band. It's fun to watch, and just very talented.
And now we know why they've been out there 4 times.
Exactly, very talented team, and hopefully we get talents of surviving through the cold here, because we're talking much colder.
We have a little stretch here, don't we?
We're not there yet, but you're going to start to feel it tomorrow afternoon. Let's go live right now, though. Well, across the Magic City, you can see the clouds building in over the city. That's good news for tonight. Not too cold in the overnight hours, but we're looking at rain moving in to Birmingham and central Alabama. Nothing too heavy, but we'll be getting some scattered light rain showers across the area. So our weather headlines now, rain moving in after midnight tonight, and then tomorrow, hang on to your hats. We're talking windy tomorrow. Gusts up to 30 miles an hour, pretty much sustained for the northwest. So it's going to be cold from the northwest at 15 to 25 miles an hour. So the high temperature will actually be at 8 a.m., and then the temperatures are going to drop like a rock during the day. And then next week, if you think tomorrow's cold, we're talking teens and below freezing for highs. I'll talk about that in our 7-day forecast. Right now, though, not too bad in Birmingham. 50 degrees, 52 Tuscaloosa, 47 Coleman, 47 also in Anniston. The coldest of there is off to the north. You see 19 in Kansas City. Look at this temperature difference. 36 degrees Oklahoma City and Dallas at 69 degrees. 46 degrees in Atlanta. Now, we have 2 big storm systems that are shaping up. Actually, one real giant winter storm. This is all that snow you can see stretch across the Great Lakes However, that's going to be a monstrous winter storm for the big cities as well as New England coming up to Thursday night into early Friday morning. And we also have rain moving in from the south. The good news is this moisture is going to stay away from that one, so it won't be as big of a storm as it could be. Here's a look at that on our Titan 3D radar. You see it's coming in from the south, so it's not going to be a very cold rain in the overnight hours. However, on the backside, when those winds shift from the northwest, it's going to be very, very cold. Our Titan cast now going through the day. Here we are at 12:30 a.m. Some scattered showers could pop up ahead of the rain. The heaviest of rain, I think, will be here in the morning, and scattered rain early in the afternoon, and then we start to clear out. But it's going to be windy and cold for our Thursday. Friday looks good. We have lots of sunshine across the area, and it won't be too bad on temperatures Friday. We kind of have a little bit of a rebound. By tomorrow morning, 47 degrees, and by noon, 46 degrees, 49 here. You can see 41 Huntsville. You see the blue, that's the cold air. That's at noon. You see the normal high usually is in the middle of the afternoon. We'll be down to 36 degrees by 5 o'clock. All right, my forecast for tonight, 44 degrees. Rain moves in after midnight. Now for tomorrow, the rain will stick around in the morning. So if you're waking up, you'll need that raincoat. But you also need to really, really, really bundle up because we have temperatures dropping fast and those winds gusting from the northwest at 15 to 25 miles an hour. Our next 3 days, 48 degrees for Thursday. But look at Friday, though. We had that sunshine. Look at the high temperature. 15 degrees when you wake up on Friday morning. 19 for the low temperature. On Saturday, not as bad, 49 degrees. But as we get into Sunday, we'll have a high temperature of 53. We'll have rain, but then a very cold air mass will move in. So that rain will change over to snow and rain on Sunday night. And Monday, we're looking at 34 for the high. Only a high of 31 on Tuesday with lows in the mid-teens. Trent, that's cold.
So you're saying the high Friday is only going to be 35?
Yes.
Okay. Traditionally a low.
Traditionally a low, with a normal low for this time of year. So it's going to be a cold week ahead.
All right, we're bundling up.
Bundle up.
All right, thanks, buddy. Well, the city of New Orleans, as you know, really knows how to show football fans a really good time. So we sent photojournalist Nick Goulas into the fan zone there in New Orleans to get a few predictions on tomorrow's big game.
OU by 21. They're going to run back 2 kickoffs. The first half, Alabama's going to fumble the second half.
OU by 2. Touchdown, Hail Mary pass to Jalen Saunders.
Oklahoma 28, Alabama 24. The quarterback situation, I think that they had enough time prepared for this game. So I think Oklahoma going to surprise a lot of people.
42-16, Bama! AJ is going to have a career-high passing. Alabama. AJ's going to throw a long pass to the end zone to Cooper.
The score's going to be 35-14. AJ is going to have his best game of his whole entire career and go out with a bang.
Bama all the way.
All right, Bama fans very confident. And as our bowl coverage continues tonight, Alabama head coach Nick Saban reveals some family history between him and the Oklahoma coach. Plus, the Auburn Tigers finally touched down in Pasadena, and Coach Gus Malzahn discusses his fast-paced offense with the officials. Next in sports, we're live from Pasadena and New Orleans.
Tonight on CBS 42, don't miss Hawaii 5-0, Criminal Minds, and CSI. Then stay tuned for CBS 42 News at 10. See it all tonight starting at 7, only on CBS 42.
It is New Year's Day. Happy New Year out there, and also Sugar Bowl Eve. And we are one day closer to the national championship college football game in the Rose Bowl. And the CBS 42 sports crew, they're everywhere, spread out across the country. We have Lauren Sisler live from the Superdome in New Orleans, Jim Dunaway and Patrick Claybon trying to behave themselves live from Pasadena. We start by focusing on the BCS National Championship. Guys, just days away. A lot of Auburn fans, all sports fans getting excited for this one.
Hey, Trent, still a few more hours before the sun finds its home out here on the West Coast. It's a balmy 78 today out here, and everyone else is worried about the Rose Bowl and going on in Pasadena today, but the national championship on Monday. Auburn and Florida State with closed practices this afternoon.
Yeah, the Auburn Tigers out practicing at UC Irvine today. We'll be able to see them later on this week in practice. We'll have all that for you. We'll also have Lauren Sisler out here, but for now, she is in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl. We go out to her live now. Lauren, how are you?
Hey guys, I was taking a look at the weather app here, seeing the nice sunny temperatures you got there, and here it's 54, cloudy, a little bit of rain, but you know what? The city here hasn't missed a beat. I'm sitting here in front of Canal Street. The fans getting excited for the big Sugar Bowl tomorrow. We've got fans behind us here getting revved up. Now, Alabama head coach Nick Saban addressed the media one final time today in preparation for the big game. Coach Saban and Bob Stoops met for a photo opportunity with the Sugar Bowl trophy. And besides being football coaches for storied programs, the history between these two go way back to the 1980s.
This is a relationship that goes way back for many, many years, and I think it's because of the respect that I had for the family and the quality of people that they were, and I certainly have the same respect for the coaching fraternity that comes from that family, and obviously starts with Bob.
Coach Saban used to come through our school recruiting, and my father, it was very common for him to have different coaches stop by the home and eat dinner with us.
And that was back when Nick Saban was an assistant at Ohio State and Michigan State. And Nick Saban told us he used to play with Uncle Bob. He used to play cards in the boiler room. And guys, I don't know about you. Have you guys ever played gin rummy?
Gin rummy sounds like something they used to play on Little House on the Prairie or something. I played spades with Michael Jordan, but that's a different story.
Well, this guy,
big-time players, right? Made big-time plays in national championship. Auburn and Florida State both arriving yesterday. They're working out. Some concern about the hurry-up offense and officiating in this game.
And you talked about the big-time players. We got Jameis Winston. We've had Trey Mason. So explosive guys on offense, and they can pick up the pace a little bit. The Auburn Tigers made it to Anaheim, California yesterday, the ESPN zone out there at Disneyland. We had a chance to sit down and talk to Gus Malzahn, Big Ten officiating crew. Maybe you think old-time dust tumbleweed going through, not quite the high-flying, high-paced, laser-like offenses of these two teams. Coach, how are you going to react to the officials?
Yeah, as a head coach, you always talk to the lead official and the umpire before the game. We'll talk about that. But there's a few teams that, that try to go fast in that league, and so I don't have any concerns at all.
So Coach Malzahn may be saying just a perception thing won't be a problem.
More on the countdown to the BCS coming up at 6 and 10. Right now, back to you guys in Birmingham. Trent?
All right, great coverage. Jim Dunaway and Patrick Claybon in California. CBS 42 News at 5 continues in just a moment. Stick around.
One of the coldest 7 days out there. Look at this, 48, we're not in the country, but for Birmingham, 70 or 48 degrees. I wish it was 78 for tomorrow. It's going to be very windy, so it will feel colder, and it will get much colder during the day. We'll probably be hanging out in the upper 30s during the day with the northwest wind, and we got some sunshine, but very cold temperatures on Friday.
Now I'm seeing 3 lows in the teens. Not exactly what we want to see, but that's reality.
That's reality for a winter here in 2014.
Yes, it is. Ted, thanks so much. We leave you right now with a live shot from New Orleans. All the Bama fans there getting ready for the Sugar Bowl coming up tomorrow night. We're back at 6 o'clock. The CBS Evening News is up next.